This show is brought to you in part by viewers like you who joined the Patreon or become a YouTube member. Thank you. If you could, please hit the like button and subscribe if you want more Cavs-focused content.
Yeah. It's like this shouldn't be
that to me,
they shouldn't even be close. And like even the minutes distribution, like again, I do think Kenny Atkinson deserves Coach of the Year. I'm very glad that he's the coach. I think he's going to learn and grow from this. But like I was looking at the minutes, and you guys know how I feel about Dean Wade and Isaac Okoro. I defend them a lot. I'm looking at the minutes in game 5 and entering the fourth quarter. Okoro, Wade, and DeAndre Hunter had played like the same amount of minutes. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. At a certain point, DeAndre Hunter's got to play like 40 minutes. At a certain point, the guys who were healthy, I know DeAndre Hunter had the thumb injury, but like outside of Mitchell and Garland, who were like clearly hurt, you just got to play your best players heavy minutes at a certain point in the season. And Kenny was reluctant to do that all year. Dean Wade was out there. He's playing good defense. Okoro's playing good defense, but like you can't score. And these dudes are just running up and down the floor without shooting. You got to try and play your guys.
Sometimes Kenny would drive me crazy because you would see this team struggling to get any buckets, and then we're checking in Isaac Okoro.
Right.
Which, like, even the biggest Isaac Okoro fans, like, why now?
Right. I'm
like what is going on? Why is Isaac in the game now? We got Dean Wade, Isaac Okoro, and like DeAndre.
Two guys who are just going to get completely ignored on offense. And it's like, and again, like you said, like I'm the biggest Okoro defender. That man should have not played 19 minutes that final game.
Hitting the ground every time. It is like, because we're just letting three guys just disregard their man and go straight to Donovan. That's why. I think Kenny visibly panicked for the first time all year in game 5. He just was throwing shit at the wall. And like, I can't say I would have done anything differently if I were the coach there. I'm gonna be real with you. It's real easy to sit from here in this chair and say, I would have done this differently. But I'll be honest with you. My best players are shooting like 15% for 3. I'm just, fuck it. Like, I don't know what y'all want to do.
Yeah.
Like, I have no clue. Like, I am trying to be very cautious here because it's easy to get on camera and say, I got the answer and this is what went wrong and it's because they ran too much zone or whatever shit. And I'm like, honestly, most of the time, I don't know what the fuck could have fixed this series because it didn't seem fixable. It seemed like things broke that couldn't be fixed.
Yeah, and to that point, like just to be fair and make the case for like why Okoro was on the floor, everyone points to defense, but it was even more than that. Okoro was on the floor because it goes back to what we're saying with the full court press. They couldn't break a full court press. And Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, they're not very good screen setters. I think Okoro is like your most physical screen setter. And you're trying to break a press. You needed Okoro setting screens in the backcourt. You need him setting screens and really just in general using him as a screener. Like that's why he was on the floor offensively, because they're like, we can't create any separation off these screens. Allen and Mobley have always kind of been limited in that regard. And I think if there's any physicality criticisms, it's the screen setting, because and I want to talk about Jarrett Allen real quick. I got to say this because you call Jarrett Allen the garbage man, right? Because when he shows up, he does a job, no one cares. But you let the trash on the street pile up for a while. People are going to be asking, where the hell is Jarrett Allen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I can't stress this enough. I'll be clear. Allen was bad the last 2 games of the series, right? I'm not ignoring that. He was bad. But going back to your analogy, something that's important to keep in mind. You have to at least put the trash onto the street for the garbage man to pick it up. If you're expecting Jarrett Allen to go into your house, change the trash cans, and then bring them out, it's not going to happen. If everything is turning to shit, Allen has never been the guy who's going to single-handedly save the day. He's not that caliber of player.
He's not.
It's also not his play style, right? Like he's not. Think of the best version of Jarrett Allen. It's when everything around him is clicking and he's filling those gaps to perfection, right? He's rolling to the rim. He's finishing plays. He's being a rim protector when the team's playing good defense, right?
He's like the canary in the coal mine of like, hey, if Jarrett comes out here with like 20 points, you're probably playing really well on offense, right?
Yeah.
Because that means the ball is flowing. That means you're creating these spots that Jarrett can attack, and then you can get the ball. It means you're really connected, right? Like the chemistry is there. Everything's working properly. Because Jarrett's offense, he's not going to get 20 points because you're just throwing him a bunch of lobs either, right? Like that happens every once. He gets like 8 points off a lob. He gets 9 points off lobs, like on average, right? Like something like that, where you get a foul line once or twice, right? But he's not like prime DeAndre Jordan, where all you can get him like 30 points just by lobbing the ball up to him, right? So in order for Jarrett to get to 20, the ball movement has to be impeccable, and the gravity on the shooters has to be there because they're making shots. And when you're shooting 28% from three, that means there's no gravity on the shooters. That means Jarrett has to worry about rebounding more than scoring, right? So he's not going to be able to make a nice little back cut, right, to give a lane out here and to open up the offense. And the house of cards just starts falling apart there, right? So, like, Jarrett Allen is not. You don't blame Jarrett Allen for the fact that you got roaches, sir. Right? Like that blaming this on Jarrett Allen is like you got roaches and you blaming this on Jarrett Allen. You supposed to put the garbage outside, sir. Yeah. Like, I don't know why you think that's my problem.
Like he's not. If your ship is sinking, Jarrett Allen, he's not going to sink.
He's gonna go down with the ship.
Yeah, he's going down with it. And like I think it's important to acknowledge that yes, he was bad in games 4 and 5, but like this was not a 2023 style collapse, right? Like you look at this series, game 2, I wrote it down. He had 22 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks. He showed up, did his job. They should have won game 2. He had nothing to do with why they collapsed in the last second. Game 3 in the dub, puts up 19 points, 12 rebounds, 2 blocks. The Cavs won the possession battle in this series. They finished the series. They took over 20 more shots than Indiana, I believe. They had over 20 more rebounds. The problem is the Cavs shot 42% from the floor and the Pacers shot 42% from 3. And people are like, it's like that. You just don't win series like that, right? Like if you were shooting, your field goal percentage matches the opponent's 3-point percentage. That don't got shit to do with physicality,
man. 35%. They're probably in good shape, man. That's the thing.
People on the same point too. I saw people tweeting, Jarrett Allen, only 6 combined rebounds in the last 2 games. Did the Pacers even miss 6 shots in the last 2 games? Where is he supposed to get the rebound? You have to big teams miss to get a rebound. And you can say, okay, he could have been more active on the glass. I'm not excusing only 6 rebounds. But the point is, this is all part of the picture here. You can't just be like, oh, well, the Pacers are shooting lights out, but also Jarrett Allen isn't getting any rebounds. Well, there's no damn rebound for him to grab. It was not at all similar to what happened in 2023. And I think that's important. Even if you want to criticize him, this to me was not a case of Jarrett Allen, just like the lights look too bright for him. I think if he looked fine whenever the Cavs had their shit together, and when everything else was falling apart, he looked like a dud. And to a degree, like that's the type of player Jarrett Allen is. He's your 4th most important player. He's making $20 million a year. He's basically like a star role player. Like he is a role player at the end of the day. He's a very good role player. He's not the guy who's gonna lift you out of the ashes when everything's going wrong. And if you want to criticize him for that, then sure, that's fair. Like if you think that they can find a player who could do that, I'd like to see the trade.
I don't even think that, like, if you're criticizing Jarrett Allen for not being a star player, that's not even what he's paid to be.
Yeah,
right.
At that point, like you gotta look at the big picture and realize things were already going wrong. Like I don't feel like I'll end my rant on this. I don't feel like we were a Jarrett Allen game away from winning this series. Like I don't think if Jarrett Allen had been a little bit better on the rebounds or rolled harder to the rim, that tilts the scales in this series. There were so many other things that had to be fixed before we get to all of the Jarrett Allen stuff. And it didn't help, right? Like it certainly didn't help that Allen was invisible in the last 2 games, but guess what? He played good in the first 3 games. We were down 2-1. Like there were so many other things that were going wrong. And so, yes, you can criticize Jarrett Allen fairly all you want, but I think pretending that this was, a carbon copy of 2023 is a little disingenuous.
No, I don't think Jarrett Allen really, I don't want to say he didn't. I think Jarrett Allen was Jarrett Allen in this series. Like, if they would have won it with him, like, hey, Jarrett was huge in these 2 games, right? Like, I don't think Jarrett Allen sticks out to me. I think the eraser of our bench is also another thing that sticks out. DeAndre Hunter was not very effective in this series at all, offensively or defensively. And I think that was a big problem for the Cavs, like a huge problem for this team. And this one, I'm trying to look up his game log versus Indy, right? So 41% from the floor in the last game, 50% from 3, 12 points. Well, he was 5 of 12 from the floor. So it's like not amazing there. Went 0 in game 3. And then I think in game 2 was 2 for 6, right? 8 points.
I thought
game 4. Game 4. Game 3. He didn't play in game 2, but game 3, you got 12 points most out of him. I think we're expecting at least one 20-point game from
Yeah.
DeAndre Hunter. Like, I think a good DeAndre Hunter series does extend the series. Whereas, like, Jarrett Allen, a good Jarrett Allen series is he scores 20 points twice. You got that. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you got that from
He
Jarrett
put up
Allen.
20 and 12 twice, and they lost one of them. And I don't remember what he put up in game one, but
Yeah.
like the point is, like, the Cavs, they I came into the series with a couple keys, right? You got to win the possession battle. So that means, win the rebounding game, and just don't turn the ball over as much as Indiana. And you got to shoot the ball well. They took care of the first two things. They won the possession battle every single game except for, I think, game four. They had more possessions. They won the rebounding battle, or it was like neck and neck. They got more offensive rebounds basically every game. They forced more turnovers all the way up until, I think, game 4 or 5. But they just didn't. The 3-point gap was so tremendous that they had no chance. In the one game where it was even somewhat competitive from three, they won. They won. The other game four looked more competitive than it was because, like, the second half guys shot better, but like first half it was
somebody
awful.
could box score watch and say they got the 40% in it. They were like at
that's like
22?
Jalen Tyson was like 2 of 3. I think Okoro went like 3 of 3 or something. It's like,
look at that game. They were like at like 22 or something like that. I don't know. Once they went down past 41 points, I stopped watching.
Game was over.
Like that's gonna be the greatest playoff comeback plus 10 points. It's not happening. Not tonight. Like, it's just not gonna be there. So yeah, I think the 3-point shooting, like, just falling off a cliff, completely failed you, right? Donovan Mitchell shooting, which, like, to be fair, was shaky coming into the playoffs. Like, was already shaky. So I don't think much changed for him, but DeAndre's shooting just went down the hill, right? Jerome shooting.
Wade gave you nothing, which you don't expect too much, but like you're hoping like maybe you could get like one or two threes from him.
Game, right?
Yeah, give me one where you hit a couple. Give me Merrill. I honestly, off the top of my head, I can't even remember. I feel like Merrill had a couple games where he hit like 2 of them, but like you're hoping for ideally like what we saw throughout the regular season. Maybe you get like a random game where Merrill hits 4 or 5. You didn't get that. You didn't get Okoro made absolutely nothing. And I think really if you just focusing on the two most important bench guys, Ty Jerome and DeAndre Hunter, didn't have it for you offensively. And I think you could be more gracious to Hunter because he dislocated the thumb on his shooting hand. But still, like, the fact of the matter is you won 64 games in large part due to your depth, and you lost the depth battle in this one. Indiana absolutely crushed. I don't know what the bench scoring numbers were. I'd have to imagine Indiana crushed us because, again, Thomas Bryant was out there going on scoring runs. Mathurin was coming in getting buckets. TJ McConnell didn't really torch us in the way that I was, a little bit worried. I was like, please just don't let us lose to TJ McConnell baseline jumpers or something. So that didn't happen. But everybody, the Indiana top to bottom, got huge performances. And the Cavs really, like, I mean, like, let's be serious. I think there's 3 guys who I would say played pretty good, and Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, and Evan Mobley. Like, outside of that, like, Jarrett Allen was fine in the first 3 games, horrible in the last 2. Everyone else was kind of bad across the board. Like, Mitchell, I wouldn't blame for the series. Mobley, I wouldn't fully blame, although I think he could have been more aggressive. Strus did about all he could as a role player. Outside of that, man, and I mean, Darius was hurt, sure, but like outside of that, everyone else was pretty damn bad.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at it. Max Strus shot. Look, we were talking about Max Strus. He was the hottest guy for 3 we had all series. He shot 34%, man.
God damn, like, this is below average, right? It's like, and it felt like he was
no.
Tony.
It gets marksman. Worse. Do you know what he shot for the field?
Probably worse than 34%.
No, he shot 38. He was
okay.
40.
Jesus, man. It's like,
and this is like our hottest guy in the series.
Yeah.
From a shooting perspective, I want to see what Donovan Mitchell splits were because his 3-point percentage has to be atrocious.
Oh, it had to be horrible. His percentage at the rim must have been pretty good because he was, I mean, dude, he was so like just a
fucking Lord. He was at 24.5% from 3 in this series.
It's like it's hard to, and like I want to be clear because I know we already said it, but like Mitchell was so damn good in this series, and that's without shooting the ball well, and he was missing free throws. There were like he was putting up 40-point games. He could have had 50
threes in this series.
He could have had 50 points multiple times this game if he was shooting regularly from the 3. And so I mean, just so much went wrong. And I
And
think
even
like,
the one game he made threes, he was still below. He was still
yeah,
below 40. He's a
it's because he
40%
just hit a
shooter.
couple. It's because he hit a couple at the end,
Dang.
you know? Uh,
14% in game five.
yeah,
God.
man.
No,
It
no, no, my
was,
bad. 9. He went 9% from 3 in game 1.
oh,
Um
yeah, yeah. Well,
in
game
game 1.
one, I will say game one, I think he took like 3 half court shots at like the end of the buzzer. So it was probably a little bit closer to like 25%, but still, that's not very good either. Like it
Yeah,
was all bad.
it's so bad here. I don't even want to know what. I don't think Darius made a 3. Okay,
I'm
did he?
trying to remember if he did. He, if any,
If
it's
it
like
had to be
one.
in garbage time,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Oh, I
and
bet he
then
hit one in game four, second half. I feel like he hit one.
yeah, I probably wasn't watching at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah. Well, because I look back and I think he had like 21 in game four. And I'm like, when the hell like he must have got all that in the second half. I didn't go back and watch, but I did see he had like a decent scoring game. But I'm like, the game was over when he was
He
finally scoring.
made 2 threes in game 3
Yeah,
and a
man.
3 in game 4, and
Yeah.
he shot for the series 16%.
Yeah, it's just like you're not
16%.
winning. You're not winning. We broke down all these different like X factors and everything that contributed to it, but the end of the day, you shoot that poorly. And I said it at the start. I said it after game one. I was like, look, if the Cavs are going to shoot below 30% from this series, it's over. Like they're just not going to win. There's really no realistic way forward. And so I think the question that unfortunately we're going to be asking from now
Real
all the way until
quick,
next year. I'll go ahead.
before we get to that, just further evidence of my frustration. Do you know what Evan's shooting splits were in this series?
I feel like they were pretty damn good. I feel like he probably shot close to 50%.
He shot 43% for 3 in this series. And
It's ridiculous.
on like
Man.
4 attempts a game,
Yeah.
and then about 58% from the floor.
58%, man. That's okay. If
And
I
he
don't remember
only
if I said
averaged
this.
33 minutes in this series.
Good God, man. I don't remember if I said this earlier. I thought it, but I don't know if I said it. If there's one positive thing that we can take away from the year, the regular season and everything, because we're like, listen, it sucks. That regular season was like the most fun I've ever had watching the Cavs, and it's going to be forever stained by the playoffs. But if there's one thing that you can truly 100% take away that actually carried over a decent amount to the playoffs, it's that Evan Mobley is that dude. He's made the leap. He's legit. Any concerns that you had this time a year ago, I think he's basically addressed them across the board. He's going to be an all NBA player, probably second team. He won the defensive player of the year. He's shooting threes in the playoffs too. Even though we lost, he still shot the ball well. The dude was legit. And that was going to be the question that I was going to ask. Just overall, it's like, we're going to be asking this all the way up until next year, this time next year, because no matter what they do in the regular season, they're not going to get any credit for it. And to a degree that's completely valid and fair. Was any of their growth that they showed this past regular season, was it real? Was it legit? That's the question we're going to be asking. Or did we see their true colors in the playoffs? Is that who they are? That's what people are going to be asking. And I'll be real with you. People
I
can
don't
say I'm
even think people are
coping.
going to ask it anymore.
Oh yeah,
I
people are
think they're
just
just
gonna
going to
people
assume
have
it.
jumped to that as soon. Yeah,
Like,
people have already concluded
we're
it,
going to
and
get written off.
yeah, people
like,
already have concluded it.
Yeah.
And I like people can say I'm coping. You can say I'm a shameless Cavs defender, whatever you want. I'm standing on this. I truly think if the Cavs were healthy, like fully healthy this season, reasonable health in the playoffs, I think they beat Indiana. They probably go to the finals. I feel confident in that take. I think everything that could have went wrong this year. And so when we're talking about what do the Cavs do going from here, just listen, you're not winning 64 games again. The stars aren't going to align like that, but you keep this core together. You're going to have very limited options to improve anyway, to change the roster. So you probably keep the core together. You win another 50, 60 games next year. Boston's going to be, no Jason Tatum all of next year. We'll see what happens with them in the offseason too. But like,
I want to be too careful on like saying that Boston's done,
they won't be
because like
all the way off
it's
the board.
Boston. They
Yeah.
might get Giannis or some bullshit like that. It is. Something like that always happens.
I'll put it this way, at least for right now. And again, the offseason could obviously change this. But right now, the reason why I think the Cavs, whatever you do, there's two things here. You have to be very careful with how you choose to approach this summer because one, the East is wide open right now. Again, I'm saying right now, maybe that changes, but you could very well be the 1 seed again next year. And obviously, that doesn't guarantee you anything because you were the 1 seed this year and it didn't matter. But the East is wide open. I believe your window was open. I know it seems like they're a lot farther than I think they are because of the way it ended. But I think the window's open. You got to be careful because one, you got to try and capitalize on this, whether that's running it back or making the right moves on the margins. And two, the reason why you got to be careful, I've seen people say some crazy things like super drastic changes. Here's the reality: if you play your cards right, Evan Mobley's 23, he's about to be 24. You should get at least 2 cracks at building around Evan Mobley. You get this first iteration of the Cavs with Donovan Mitchell, and I find it Donovan Mitchell, I think, is probably the second best Cavalier of all time. I find it hard to believe they're going to pair Evan Mobley with a better player than Donovan Mitchell in the future. But whatever it may be, you should get 2 opportunities to build around Evan Mobley. It's this first iteration, and then whatever you get when he's like 28 in the back half of his career. You
Yeah, there's
can't
gonna
you can't trade
be.
away all your assets right now, is what I'm trying to get at, right? Like you have to think long term here. Your window's open now, but you want to make sure it's open in the future too. That's why it's so difficult to figure out where they go from here because you don't have many moves left to make. And if you make them, you could be in a situation where this all flames out and now you don't have any way to rebuild around Evan Mobley for your second go at it and it's all over just like that.
Yeah, and the quality of move you're gonna make is probably not gonna be worth it, right? It's gonna
Yeah.
be like, all right, let's send this all here to get another role player here, right? Like, you got to wait for the right opportunity, and I think that's kind of where the Cavs are. It's like, hey, look, the people aren't gonna buy into you anymore, right? At least nationally. It's gonna suck. A lot of great things are gonna go underappreciated because of this playoff run. And that's just what you have to get through. But look, in the same way that nobody thought that Indy was going to get to the Eastern Conference Finals this year, and they did, and they rose to the occasion. Same way that New York looks like they're going to rise to the occasion. Hell, nobody thought that they were going to do shit this year.
Dude,
Right?
Julius Randle was like a notorious playoff dropper until all of a sudden he wasn't.
I mean,
Same thing with
we
Cat.
got Minnesota with and then Cat in New York and all this stuff, and the concerns people had about older version of Rick Carlisle, right? Post the first Heat the first Mavs championship. It's just there is a point to, hey, lie, wait, maybe you get hot at the right time, and then you just write that shit out and you get a championship out of it. There is a chance that can happen with this group. I think you need to adjust some things among the edges so you're not so like I think what this postseason is like, the variability is just too wide.
Yeah.
Like we need to close that
100%.
some way because like this is insane. We shouldn't be capable of being this bad.
Still should have won this series. Even like I want to be clear on this. Even with the injuries, they could have won this
Indy
series.
being as hot as they are. I'm giving credit to Indy. I'm saying Indy might get to the finals. I'm not saying that, hands up, we could do nothing about Indy. They were such a giant. I'm saying this series was supposed to determine who won the championship, and we lost it. Yep. Right? And even if we played better, I think this series would have determined who won the championship. I think the Cavs were the best team in the East, and I think the Pacers are playing the best basketball right now. I think even if you're struggling shooting, it shouldn't be sub 30, right? It should be 36. Like you should be able to will something out of there. And I think a lot of that was you just didn't have a point guard for most of the series. Your point guard was hurt. Some of that matters there, but also it's on Kobe because it's like, hey, we got to be more resilient than this with the structure of our roster. It goes back. Like, I remember people complaining about not putting, like, Robin Lopez in. I'm like, that's a Kobe Altman problem because, like, you should have a better go-to than fucking Robin Lopez, right, if you're getting bullied down low. So, Kobe has done a lot of good stuff this offseason, but last offseason, he's going to have to figure out how we can sustain what happened to us this year a little bit better because this is not an acceptable result for this Cavs team. And, it's going to feel more and more unacceptable as next year rolls on, right? There are going to be a lot of people who are going to be out on this Cavs team. A lot of people who aren't really going to believe in them. A lot of people not going to care when the Cavs win 15, 20 games in the regular season anymore, right? I mean, it's unfortunate. Donovan Mitchell had one of the greatest playoff series I've ever seen a Cavalier had, and nobody will fucking remember it. Like, it is what it is to an extent, but it's not acceptable where you're at. Doesn't mean you panic and throw everything out the window. I think there's value in Kenny Atkinson being a better coach in the playoffs next year because he's more experienced and he got his ass beat by Rick Carlisle in this one. I think there's experience in seeing how this roster crumbled specifically against the Pacers, which I do think is a more fixable crumble. It don't feel like it right now. But when they got out-muscled by the Knicks, I'm like, well, the only thing that's going to save that is time. Like, we just need Evan Mobley to get bigger physically, right? Like, there's not much that can change that. This is like, there's some options you can do, some things that maybe manifest itself in the postseason to be able to get you to a point, because you don't need an amazing point guard. You just need a handle off the bench, right? Like, because that's all you needed. Like, for like a lot of this series was like, hey, somebody just one handle, you win game 2. This thing's 2-3, and you have a chance to take it to 7 and win it. Just if you have one extra guy with the handle on the bench, right?